you all doing? I hope you're doing well. This is the reading for this auspicious weekend of the 111 portal and the 1111 portal. It's a very auspicious weekend with a lot of energetically built up we have. So let's see what's coming in for the Divine Masculine this week. Again, Well of Dreams. And I have forgiveness. And let's see what the third card is for the subconscious mind. What is happening there? Essences and energies. Yeah, we knew this. It was a huge shift a couple of days ago with the Schumann resonance. You know, you could have a feeling that you had a flu or that you became sick or ill and you need to, you know, rejuvenate yourself. And that was all going on a couple of days. It was, I think, 4 days ago. What was it? Thursday. It happened Thursday. And you could also, most of the time it's a portal of 4 days, 3 or 4 days before you're ending up on the other side. So it is letting go of old stuff, old patterns, your cells getting rejuvenated, and everything else is shifting and changing and making you ready for this new time ahead, new year ahead, you can say. And it's a very exciting year, I can tell you. And if you want a reading what this year will become for you and before your twin flame, let me know. In the description box below is my email address. Email me and I can give you a reading for till the end of January for, I thought, £44 for 30 minutes, okay? So the Well of Dreams. Ceremonies, visions, dissolve the veil, bliss, and dreams. So it could be that you get visionary dreams, you know, when you're sleeping, that you are seeing more visions, that you're more in alignment, that you're more in synchronicity, that your energy is leveling up, you know, that you start to know that you are the creation of source. You know, everybody's different, everybody has a different blueprint, everybody has a different energy, and know that energy is unique for you. When you are accepting that uniqueness, you know, you're always connecting with that higher source. So the veils are lifted for you. You can see through time and space. You can see what will happen with the world, what will happen in the future, what will happen with you. What will happen in the future, in this time and in the future for you. So know that is going on. And in the heart space, I have the card of forgiveness for the Divine Masculine. Forgive yourself. That's a beautiful one. Forgive yourself for the version that you were before you stepped into this version of yourself. Because it could be you said things or you did things that weren't in alignment with your soul. And when you are doing things that are not in alignment with your soul, you're doing things out of your mind, and you can forgive yourself for that, you know, to not to demonize yourself, but to say, okay, I forgive myself for the version that I was a couple of days ago, maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. And I forgive myself for that because I transmuted into a totally different person. Um, I I see the bigger picture now, why it is needed, and that I needed to trust and that I needed to heal. So when you're going through that period of time of forgiveness of yourself, of who you were, the old version, you know, you can even forgive yourself for the version that you were yesterday. That you say, okay, I take myself to that version of yesterday and I forgive myself for that, and I make myself a better version today. It's all how you see it and how you perceive it. Maybe there are people in your life that you need to forgive. You know, maybe you need to trust and heal, because forgiveness is also is a part of healing. And when you're going through that forgiveness and you're letting go of the things that no longer serves you, or the things that is actually, you know, saying goodbye to the old version of you and stepping into the new you. So that's why forgiveness is never about the other person. It's always about you to be a better person for yourself. So then I have essences and energy. All these energies are influencing your system, are influencing your body. And those subtle energies are there to get you back into balance for the frequencies that are coming up. And those are healing frequencies. So if you need support, if you need anything that is needed in your space, you know, use those frequencies, use the herbs, use the oils, use um, the yeah, Mother Earth's nature to, you know, create a better version of you. Because to shift those energy, to make it easier for you to transmute, because those energies, and especially the Schumann resonance, is spiking and spiking and spiking day after day after day. And for what? It's to create a new version of your cells, of your DNA, and for who you are. And if you are going into that higher frequency, you know, you will be blessed. And forgive yourself for, you know, not being the person that you were. That other energies or other frequencies came into your system and took it over to give you a response that is not you. So know that it's most of the time never coming from the inside, but also always from the outside. If I don't cleanse the area here every day, it will be full of energies, because the land here I live on, you know, it's full of tombs, you know, it's full of ancestral energy. So if I don't get myself in the highest state of frequency, if I don't get myself cleansed and the area cleansed, it will be full of energies here. So this is what the divine masculine needs to do. And what I heard in what I heard in the meditation was the divine masculine is taking action. He is stepping up towards the divine, his divine feminine, stepping up, taking action in love, in messages, in um, forgiving, forgiving himself, forgiving the other person, you know, and it's more about letting go of the control. And I also hear control and maybe jealousy, you know, it's, life is not a competition. You know, you deserve what is already there out for you. So divine masculine, you don't need to compete with anyone. You are your biggest competitor in everything what you do. And it could be that you need a little bit more mild for yourself and humble and connected. So I think that good morning, everyone. Bless you. Um, so yeah, I think it's really interesting what is needed, what needs to be done for the divine masculine. Let's see what the other cards are saying and where you're heading. So if you need any support for yourself, take herbs, cleanse yourself, go in meditation, pray, you know, go to the ancestors, take essence or oils or whatever you need to support yourself in those times. Maybe you need a huge cleanse of fasting, you know, and when you're fasting, then you're going deep within, and you know, yes, that's what the divine, thank you, Philip, that's what the divine masculine also needs, is the respect for the things that he does, and also honor him for that, thank him for that, but hold that space also for him. You know, that he knows that he is being rewarded, that he is there, not just as a servant for the divine feminine or for his family, but that he is held and nurtured and get the respect from the divine feminine, and that he feels it. And that's really, really beautiful to think. So thank you for that heads up, because it's needed. You know, the divine masculine needs that support and that respect, that he is doing the work and that he is supporting and protecting the divine feminine. And that will create, of course, abundance, fullness of source. When you're full of source, your abundance is there, because you are that light that radiates. You are that light that is radiating within and without. And that light is abundance, because it never stops. You know, that shine never stops when you're totally filled up with the energy of source. There is enough for all, and open yourself up, divine masculine. All the roads are open for you. And that's what I told you about, you know, competitive, you know, there is no competition. You are your own biggest competition. And this is what's happening, you know, abundance when you're going within. And that is really, when you're doing the work, that's only what happens. And I see you're stepping up for the divine feminine. You're stepping up for yourself. Because when you nurture the divine feminine outside of yourself, you nurture yourself within. If you're protecting the divine feminine without yourself, you are protecting yourself. It's a mirror, you know, how it is, what you do and what you can do for people, and not just for the divine feminine, but also for your divine feminine within yourself, of course. And then the abundance will come in for you. Let's get the other cards. So that is where you're heading. Not by... Sometimes we having old patterns that that we see that we can create something together. When you are creating something together, know that that's a very special thing, because everything is done out of love. Everything is done out of love. And that card is coming up. You know, maybe you have dreams from your divine feminine, and you're dreaming of that love, and you're dreaming of that, you know, divine feminine coming to you, or you coming to the divine feminine. So it's really about, you know, open those doors for yourself and say, okay, I'm loving myself first. So I'm full of love for myself. So I will attract that beautiful love from the outside. Yeah, what is coming up for the card of forgiveness? What is coming up for the card of forgiveness? Wow, this is... you sacrificed something. Oh, wow. You sacrificed a relationship, or you sacrificed the love. And it's still your dream. That love, that divine feminine that was in your life is still the love of your heart space. And you sacrificed it. Maybe by doing something wrong, you know. Maybe you have to forgive yourself for that. Maybe you have to forgive yourself that state of where you were. But you can also, now that you know, see it, how it is from another side. Put yourself in the shoes of the other person, how they would feel, how they would experience what you did to them, or what most of the time it's a trigger with both of them. What did it to you, and what did it to her? And forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself for that situation. Forgive yourself for who you were in that time. And see it from another side, and release yourself. Release yourself from, suffering. Because that's what forgiveness does. It lets you go of the burdens that you carry about the situation. Okay? Let's see what is on the essences, the frequencies, the energies. What is coming out of that? Yeah. Aha, 2 cards fall out of it. The cup of love and taking action. That's exactly what I channeled. You're bringing the cup of love, the queen that you were with, the beautiful goddess that you had in your hand, that offered you nothing more than a cup of love. That is what what can change the energies within you. And it's time to rush in with communication, to maybe to say, I'm sorry for what I did. Sorry, I forgive you and I forgive myself that that I wasn't the version of I was in that time. You don't need to you want to get rid of that suffering from yourself, that energy of feeling terrible about yourself. When you do that, you come in with an apology, you come in with a message, or you come in with a love offer, or you come in with, whatever it was. She loved you in the good state and in the bad state. She healed you, she held you, she nurtured you. Maybe she gave you children. That was not what she deserved. And by those energies and those essences can help you shift and change that part of you that is feeling, feeling stuck about it, and see it upside out. So, really interesting. So yeah, it's it's really a beautiful thing to do, divine masculine or divine feminine. That is forgiving yourself for what you did in the past, or forgive yourself for the version that you were yesterday, so you can move. And I see that the divine masculine is taking action. You have no lack of attention. You have so many suitors around you. You have so many feminine energies around you that all want a piece of you. So you don't need to be in that space of, being in hunger and being in that state. So let's see what is on the card of abundance for you. And that's the future. So that's really amazing. Wow. What did I tell you? Coming out of lack and seeing the light within yourself, seeing the joy, seeing no more. When you give to the poor, when you give a helping hand, when you be in service, your abundance is coming in. And you have great abundance awaiting for you. So you just need to see the light. If you just see the darkness, if you just see what is in front of you, then you're getting small-minded. But I see when you change it and when you shift it, it opens up and you can see beyond what is going on. You only can receive what is coming from source. And you're in that sacred energy. You're in that amazing space, divine masculine. So you're letting 2025 behind you. You're going through the stuff that comes up within you. You're transforming it. Every day you make a forgiveness towards yourself to the version of yesterday. And you're moving on, and everything is going, speeding up, and you're getting into action, into messages, everything is coming towards you. It's not that you did anything wrong. It is what you're working with the divine is working with you to shed all those old patterns from your, I hear from your liver. Maybe you have really liver and anger pains, you know. Something's heavy there, something heavy on your liver. Don't drink too much, I hear. You know, don't drink too much alcohol because that can shift your whole temper. Wow, that can shift your whole energy and you're doing things that you really don't want to do. And that's what is your whole personality change with energies that comes out of it. You know, if you think about in England, alcohol calls spirits, and it's not calling spirits for nothing. So it's really interesting to cleanse yourself from addictions of alcohol or whatever, and let that light in, so you get out of that energy of lack and stepping into the abundance that you receive, because it's your life source, you know, it's your life source. And yeah, really, really amazing. And I keep on going the last 3 weeks. You know, this is the shedding of, we're still in that energy of death and rebirth. So if you take it on and you're still moving on, and it has nothing to do that it's a new year, we're going by the wheel, the year wheel, and when you still moving through it and still letting go and forgive yourself, you know, for the past version of you, and when you hitting 1st of February, when Bridget comes in with her healing, Isis comes in with her healing, Mary Magdalene comes in with her healing, Mother Mary comes in. When those strong women come in with their healing energy, you are ready. You are ready because you already did the work during this time. And the portal days are really, really important. And this is a very auspicious weekend because we have the 111 and the 1111 portal that is really expanding our energy and shifting us. So yeah, well, this was it for the Divine Masculine. I give you an amazing, amazing time, a beautiful weekend. Step up for the Divine Feminine, within or without. You know, it depends if you're with your Divine Feminine or in separation. It doesn't matter. Step up. So she can respect you, she can nurture you, and she can see you for the person that is within, not the outside. You know, she sees the good and the bad within you, and she loves you anyway. All the love, all the blessings. Bye-bye. See you next week.